Take a look at life from a different perspective. What if life is happening for you and not to you? This is the Like Attracts Like podcast with your host, Pat Mahan.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in and listening to the Like Attracts Like podcast. I'm Pat Mahan. Before we launch the first episode itself and go live on iTunes, and I'm not looking for this to be some type of a rah-rah cheerleader, change your thoughts and change your world type of a project or type of a message, although there's going to be undertones of that. Most of the dynamic that we deal with is how our thoughts dictate our lives, but I want to get a little bit more into where our thoughts come from, where our beliefs come from that manifest in our behaviors, and then those behaviors create patterns in our lives, and then we find ourselves lost and stuck in those patterns, and we feel like life is happening to us because we feel that our behaviors are just these pre-programmed society standard responses to stimulus, positive or negative, in our lives, and that we're just, we're stuck with them. I can tell you from personal experience, which is part of my motivation for doing this, that I believe we could change those. I can tell you from personal experience that I felt that way for most of my life, from a young age, and having things happen in my life that were absolutely out of my control, and they had devastating consequences for myself and my family, and ultimately how I chose to live my life, and then how that manifested. And I seemed to find a pattern as I was going along of thought process and behavior and my view of the world, and then ultimately those experiences came back to me to match my feelings and beliefs and thoughts about how I felt this world was. So it's been a long journey, but I've been able to find some things that helped me through the process, and in turn I've been able to talk to so many people throughout the last decade of getting this, and it's helped them too. So I wanted to come up with something where I can continue to talk to people who are living their lives. I can continue to, learn myself and find out new ways of thinking and how this universe works, how this world works. We're going to get into some deep stuff. We're going to talk about, well, we can literally talk about anything that we want to, which is the beauty of this. But there's some incredible things happening in our lives every day that we take for granted because we're conditioned to accept them as being normal. Sometimes we're wrapped up in this inner story of us that we can't see or appreciate any of the things that exist, the amazing things that exist, really, in every moment right in front of you. That's the conditioning that is stopping us from being happy, whatever definition that is for you. It's that story of you, the inner voice of the life that you think you're stuck in, that I want to break you out of that story in your head if it's not serving you. The story might not even be your own, and that's what I'm most excited to talk about, offering different ways of looking at negative situations in your past, belief systems that have been projected on you by other people that create this vibrational pattern, repeating the same situations over and over and over with different places and new people, but it's the same thing manifesting in your life. I believe that these negative emotions in most cases are some type of a GPS that are guiding you and letting you know how far off of the life that you really are wanting to live, or the situations that you find yourself in that you maybe shouldn't be in, or relationships that have just gone on for too long. And I want to talk about how to detach from the critical, judgmental voices in our heads, a voice that it's so involved in this movie that's playing behind our eyes, and it's only based on past experiences and projections from other people in most cases, how you view the world. It has more to do with other people and their projected fears and limitations and judgment on you than your actual view of the world itself. This is why so many people are so confused and miserable. They're literally living a life that isn't theirs, suppressing their dreams and their emotions that they were told at one point were foolish. Some of the ideas and the concepts the what ifs that we talk about, maybe a stretch for some people to get behind. For others, it may sound like they're listening to their favorite song, that they know every lyric and every verse, and they just want to talk about what they think the artist may have meant when they created it. What other people's interpretations of the song. I think the universe is literally the song that we're trying to figure out what the writer of that song meant by it. And of course, there is no universal meaning for songs, and I don't believe personally that there's a universal meaning to or purpose to life that everyone is trying to find the answer to. I believe it is completely something that is subjective. I think it is each person's experience based on what your soul wants and what you dream and the things that you want to experience in your life. That needs to become your purpose. And through your purpose, you can inspire other people, which of course I believe is one of the most satisfying feelings. I can tell you that I'm not looking to actively change anyone's opinions of how they view life, love, or the universe. I'm not here to, impart wisdom and be the source of anyone's, redirection directly. I'm not here to convince anyone of anything. But I do want to talk about the journey. I want to talk about sometimes the long, hard journey of being able to view negative situations and emotions in a more positive light so that you can attract more positive things and experiences in your life. Because what like attracts like means is that what you focus on expands, and that's positive or negative. And I think we could find that to be true in each of our lives if we're being honest. That if you are to focus on positive things in your life, you tend to see more positive things, and you're able to identify more positive potentialities in your life and in situations. And the same holds true for if you're having a negative experience in your life. If you're having one situation in your life that is negative, then it could appear in other situations that may or may not be negative, that you will kind of attract those things to you. Now, here's where it gets interesting for me, and it's to put some things to rest about what people think of this like attracts like movement and the secret and the law of attraction and things like that. They are, I use the word unfortunately lightly, but they're grouped together in this woo-woo based non-scientific way of what you think about magically becomes attracted to you. Now there's some cool things that point to this in a vibrational sense of the universe and quantum physics and things like that, which those will be some badass conversations. But the truth of it is that we have something in our brain called the reticular activating center, our RAC. And your RAC, its job is to identify things that you tell it to identify. The best example of this is if you've ever bought a new car or a car in general, and you're looking for a new pickup truck, and you see an ad in the paper for a pickup truck. You buy the pickup truck. You never saw the pickup truck before in your life, and now all you literally see is that pickup truck. You see that color, you see that year, everywhere. Now, did the universe magically bring you a bunch of pickup trucks because you are focusing on them? No, those pickup trucks were there the entire time. The cars were there the entire time. There's infinite potential of things that are around us all of the time. But since this was a focus for you, your brain, your reticular activating center, locates them and identifies them and brings them to the forefront of your consciousness, so that because it's what you told it you want. And it works like that on emotions. It works like that on thoughts. It works like that on experiences. It works like that. Your brain will begin to recognize things that you tell it to. The problem is that we live from a place of lack and from we don't have these things. And the verbiage that we use in our heads is oftentimes not helpful towards the end goal of what we want is being satisfied and fulfilled in this world. We ask for things that we don't want to happen. I don't want to be late. I don't want to be in debt. I don't want this horrible relationship. So the problem is that we ask for things the wrong way. We ask for things from a place of lack, and we don't understand why we keep getting it, because the contradiction is, well, I'm saying I don't want these things. I don't want these things. But then these things that we don't want keep showing up. And, the universe, God, energy source, whatever you want to call it, doesn't understand the word don't or no. It's not listening to the physical words you're saying. It's listening to the emotion that you're putting out, the vibe that you're putting out, the experience that you're telling your brain that you want to have. So it's the equivalent to me saying, think of a pink elephant. Close your eyes and think of a pink elephant. You got it? Now don't think of a pink elephant. Most of you are still thinking of a pink elephant. Your brain doesn't know the difference between you telling it doesn't want something and it does want something. It's going off of what you feel when you think of it. And then that's the vibration, if you will, that you're putting out into the universe. And I'm telling you that I believe that that's what comes back to you. And you can get scientific about it, or you can get spiritual about it, or religious. It doesn't matter. It's all the same principle, that what you focus on expands. And once you get the verbiage right and the emotion matching that inner dialogue that's been changed in your head correct, and they're all in alignment, then I've seen some amazing things happen. And that's what I want to see happen for everybody, and I want to get deeper into it. And there's some really awesome things that and ideas and theories that we can all kind of use maybe to benefit, to make ourselves a little bit happier, a little bit more fulfilled every day, and identifying what that is for each one of us. It's my favorite thing to talk about. Anybody who knows me knows that 9 times out of 10, I'm not a small talker. I want to get down to like what makes people tick. I want to get down to all of it, like the deepest levels of why we do what we do, and changing it so that people can start doing what they want to do instead of what they feel they need to do to fit in, or to make it in society, or to live up to someone else's expectations, or their own false expectations of what they feel they need to be in order to have value. All of that is a myth, and we can really kind of work together through this to make some amazing changes in people's lives and have a badass time doing it. So there's a little bit of an introduction as to what Like Attracts Like is going to be about and why it's important to me. I hope I answered some of the questions from the people that were writing in. We do have episodes coming up soon in the next couple of weeks, but as always, we're looking for more input. If you guys have things you want us to talk about, if you have stories you'd like us to address, behaviors that are continuing in your life, and maybe you want a different perspective as to why they might be happening, or an outsider's point of view, that's what we're looking for. And we're looking to have a little bit of fun with this, inspire some people, change some perspectives, and really help people start to live a little bit more of an authentic life based on their dreams and their love and their passions, and not projections from other people or limiting beliefs that other people gave them that have now become their own story. So thank you guys for listening in. I hope you guys are excited about this little project as I am. I look forward to diving deep with each and every one of you. Have a great day, an amazing night. We'll see you next time.